Hello everybody, this is another Evernym demo video. We do this every 2 weeks. Hopefully you're finding this on the Evernym YouTube channel. If you're finding this outside of the playlist, you should look at some of the previous videos. There are a lot of good information there. And this demo video is going to be a bit light. Between some illness and between us assisting some other Evernym teams, we didn't do as much upstream work as we've done previously. But we did do some good stuff, and I want to share it. We want to share it as a group. So on the SDK side, we are preparing a release. We'll talk about that more in a little bit. And we also, this release has some bug fixing. But one of our main focuses was doing research into continuous integration, continuous delivery options. The current Jenkins approach we've been using is getting kind of rickety. We've been using the same Jenkins server for a long time, and new project contributors aren't used to Jenkins, find it difficult to navigate. We tried to use GitLab that was being offered by the Sovrin Foundation, but there are various reasons why that system didn't perform the way we'd hoped. And so we looked at the latest version of GitLab, also looked at Azure, GitHub Actions, Circle CI. We did quite a bit of investigation. Andrew's going to take us through that investigation in a minute, but you can see we shared our findings with the Aries community on the Aries working group calls. You can find the agendas for that at wiki.hyperledger.org. And we had a conversation about this with the Indy contributors call. And you can also find that agenda at wiki.hyperledger.org and recordings to both those calls. So excited about that. On the Indy node side, oh, and I should mention, so the next couple of weeks, our goal is to work on Aries shared libraries. We've done a lot of collaboration on that as well. With the Indy VDR that was produced by Andrew Whitehead at British Columbia, that's matured a lot, and we're excited to work on that. You can see that one of the key things we want to do with that is get the rich schemas work into that VDR, and then we want to get that VDR integrated into libindy so it becomes the default implementation for interacting with the ledger. That's going to take a chunk of work. So that's probably going to be our focus for the next few weeks, maybe even a month and a half or so. On the Indy node side, we did a lot of collaboration with the community on rich schemas. Some of our teams have been traveling. They've been here in North America, which has been great for collaborating with the Ken and Adam in the Sovrin Foundation, who've been doing most of the rich schema work, along with Brent in the Evernym Draper office. We also published a troubleshooting checklist for Indy Node, and we had a special meeting on that. You can find that meeting at wiki.hyperledger.org in the Indy contributors meeting. So we did 2 Indy contributors calls this week. And then we've been learning about some other blockchain stuff, doing some training as a team, and we built a communication tool for detecting a connection check tool for detecting problems with ZMQ. We demoed that in the last video, so Andrew actually did that demo as well, so you're encouraged to view that video. We got some feedback from our customer team on how to make it simpler to install and easier to use, and we'll probably be incorporating that feedback into the tool in the next couple of weeks. Going forward, we need to get the Indy node off of Ubuntu 16.04 to the future. 16.04 is getting deprecated. We'll probably move to 20.04 at this point, skip 18.04. We're getting a lot of help from the Kiva team on that. The Kiva team has also been helping with moving from Indy crypto to Ursa on Indy node. And so we've been working with them on that. But our main focus is rich schemas all the time. The rich schemas effort is, we want to take the way encoding happens on the Indy ledger and in verifiable credentials and make that much richer and compliant with the W3C standard for verifiable credentials. You can see, again, we had a special Indy contributors call on that topic 2 weeks ago. You can find that in the ledger. You can find that in the wiki.hyperledger.org. And that we talked about, we made a development plan for that, and we're getting a lot of we're finally making good progress on that. That's exciting. So that's the main focus for probably, again, the next 6 weeks or so. We've got some vacations coming up. We are onboarding a new member of our team. You'll meet her as we progress Echo. And so there's just been a lot of, internal team training, vacation time, illness, things like that. So that's why we're not making as traditional a sprint effort as we've made in the past. That, and honestly, Indy Node's running really stable at the moment. So this is a good time, not at the moment. We've done a lot of work in 2019 to get Indy Node really reliable. And so we feel like this is a good time for us to do a lot of these improve as an organization tasks. So that's the summary of our work and how we feel as a project, and where we plan to contribute to the project for the next few weeks. I should say it's been really fun working with the team at British Columbia and the team at Sovrin Foundation and the team at Kiva. A lot of contributors on the project right now, and it takes a lot of communication time to keep everybody moving in the same direction. But it's a lot of fun, a lot of good ideas. We're learning a lot from those contributors. So we appreciate everybody's assistance in that. So with that, let's talk about CI/CD. I'll stop sharing my screen, and then we'll talk about the release plans.
Okay, hello everyone. Let me share my screen. Okay.
Looks good.
Yeah. Okay. During this, during the sprint, I was working on investigation investigation of options for CI/CD for solution like GitHub Actions, Azure pipelines, and etc. Okay, let's define some requirements regarding our project. First of all, we need to support several platforms: Linux, Windows, MacOS. It's main priority. Also, the next main goal for us. A lot of our developers have a fork of the main repo, and they send a pull request from fork. Sorry, and in this case we have to we have to support for triggering builds for pull requests from fork. Also, there is another specific case regarding to Indy SDK. They run Indy SDK runs integration tests and uses Indy pool. Which placed on which consists of several Docker containers combined by one network, and we have to have ability to create several containers and combine it through one Docker network. Also, nice to have hardware acceleration for Android's procedures like builds or testing, etc. Also, nice to have, and it's optional, is ability to pass an artifact through CI/CD jobs. It can be helpful for to avoiding artifacts rebuilding. In release, well, for debug steps, I think debug building can take 5 or 6 minutes, but release builds can take more than 10 minutes, for example. Also, it will be helpful to run jobs in parallel, and in future maybe nice to have some ability to scale to increase count of runners, for example. Let's briefly see to existing solution. Firstly, let's see to GitLab CI. Well, we didn't make a deeper investigation regarding GitLab CI because it has very significant for us negatives, like it cannot trigger builds from GitHub pairs, which was sent from forks. As I said before, it's very significant for us because all of our developers have fork of main repo. And GitLab CI has GitLab CI is a difficulty for launching an Indy pool for our integration tests. Well, let's move to Circle CI. Circle CI, well, it's very similar to GitHub Actions. It has similar approach for building pipelines. It also uses YAML files for configuration. But Circle CI is it's independent solution, and it's not free. But he has several benefits, like it provides Docker layers caching, and we can choose machine for runners. We can choose a machine with high with high RAM, disk space, and etc. Okay, negatives the same as for GitHub Actions. Azure. Let's move to Azure pipelines. Well, it's Microsoft's product, and it's free for public repos, and it's well, it's very useful for us because in the SDK, for example, in the SDK, it's public repo. It can trigger builds from GitHub fork. It's nice for us. Also, as described in official page, in official docs, it has Linux and the Windows machine with hardware acceleration support. It's very nice for us because we can run builds and tests for Androids faster than now. Also, they provide it provides 10 parallel jobs for open source project, and it's also nice. But there are some negatives. Firstly, it needs write access to repo. I think it's well, okay. And also it requires authorize with Microsoft Corp on GitHub. Well, and let's move to GitHub Actions. GitHub Actions, it's young project. It's well, it has it has large community, a lot of issues, a lot of ready actions. It's like a plugin which can help build, which can help for building pipeline steps. like upload artifacts, download artifacts, and etc. Also, there are some actions that that can provide Rust environment with Rust with Rust specific packages and etc. Also, it's a GitHub project, and of course, it's totally aggregated with GitHub. GitHub Actions can trigger builds for pull requests from fork. It's very nice for us. It doesn't have hardware acceleration for Linux and Windows machine, but it has hardware acceleration for macOS machine. And official docs refers to use macOS machine for Android builds. Looks strange, but why not? Well, there are a lot of plugins, as I said. Yes, there is the ability to run jobs in parallel and share artifacts between jobs. It can help for us. It can be helpful for us to increase time for building Rust artifacts. When I played with GitHub Actions, I noticed that there is an unpredictable time for waiting for free executors. Sometimes I waited for 15 or 20 minutes before my job was started. And we cannot choose machines for using. I think there is a pool of machines on GitHub site, and only GitHub can. Only GitHub choose which machine will be used for current run. And I want to show example of workflow. Sorry. Sometimes. Okay. And for example, I created a workflow which consists of 2 jobs: build and run test. Build only. Sorry. Build job just prepare environment and run cargo build, and then and then we get artifacts like a target, like a zipped target directory, and pass this zipped directory to the next job, run test. The next job, I think GitHub action. I think GitHub is busy now. It has a lot of jobs. Okay, and previously built artifacts passed to the next job and used for test. For example, it's a container, and this section. This step will run test. Well, I think I think that's all from my side.
And thank you for that detailed analysis. That's really useful. We did present this on the Indy call and the Aries call. Aries Framework Go did a similar evaluation and came to a similar conclusion. They're using GitHub Actions for most of their operations and using Azure pipelines when they need more horsepower, when they can define their runners. So that's, and Hyperledger pays for Azure pipelines too. So that's great. Thank you, Andrew. Sergey, want to tell us about the releases?
Yeah, thank you, Richard. So, as it's already mentioned by Richard, we are not planning to release Indy Node. There were no critical findings or reports about Indy Node stability, so we are just skipping this release. Probably is wrong window. But for Indy SDK, we decide to issue a bug fix release. It would be 1.14.3. From libvcx point of view, there are a lot of new functionality, and you may find some details in our previous demo. It's about less dependency on agency in libvcx flows and some other improvements. Inside libindy, we have some bug fixes. The most significant from them is about unencrypted flow. There were problems around encoding in both libindy and libvcx, so it's fixed now. So basically, that's it for upcoming release from libraries and Indy SDK consumers. But there is also a big effort hidden here. We put some time to refactor unit and integration tests inside libvcx, and I hope now they are more stable and less unpredictable. So that's it from about our effort last 2 weeks.
Excellent. Thank you very much. We're working on the Aries RFCs for connection info and proof reject. So that'll be useful. We do expect a release in March of Indy Node as we remove Indy Crypto and move to Ursa. That is the summary for the project right now. We did just for people that I mentioned the wiki previously, just to show people the actual pages. We do have the recording for the session on troubleshooting Indy Network. That was a really good conversation. Recommend people watch that. I'll probably put that recording in our Evernym's YouTube channel as well. And collaborating rich schemas, we have the recording for that session, so you can get a sense of that project. So that'll be really useful. And of course, we talked about the Aries working group calls, and we got recordings posted for those as well. So thank you very much. I'll post this and look forward to talking to everybody again in about 2 weeks when we'll give another update on our progress as a team. Thank you.